for the results to be there, and this is the first condition to be a coach, you actually have to put yourself, you don't have to, you get to put yourself out there and be uncomfortable, because the starting, and this is why in the coaching world we say work client zero. And I would venture to guess that any coach who has gotten started on this path, they likely started to go in this direction because they were dealing with some challenge that they had to work through in their own life. And if you're a coach listening to this at this point, I will take you back to your own story of struggle and really go through it and see what happened. Because I think the theme and the power and the growth and the struggle, all of it lies within our own story. And the more I've coached others, the more I've become aware of the impact of my own story on me and on those around me. And I'll take you back to the time when I started as a coach. When I started out 10 years ago, even though I wanted to coach others, but to be honest, I didn't have the confidence or courage to do it in the beginning. I had to kind of muster it up. But the reality was that I was trying to grow myself. I was trying to start a new life. I was trying to overcome a lot of hurdles and demons internally within me. I was trying to show up as a better human being, as a better leader in my own life. And the reality was I wasn't. And I painfully knew that. And I had tried for a long time on my own. I had hired people, I had connected with people, I had a lot of mentors and coaches at that point, and I was growing. But I was like, you know what, maybe the next level for me is to actually put myself out there. And that wasn't like oh, let me share with the world what I know. I was actually scared to do that because I was like, I don't know anything, let me figure out how I can pull answers from others. And I saw the path to growth from a couple of leaders that I knew at the time, who, one was a trainer and a teacher, the other one was a coach. And they both said, it's like, do you know why a lot of trainers and teachers teach? Because they want to learn themselves. Do you know why a lot of coaches want to coach? Because they want to grow themselves. It's like, holy shit, I was just thinking I have to know a lot to coach people. I'm like, no, I have to be open to knowing a lot as a coach. Which also connected with my one of my interests is philosophy, was in the just term philosopher, which comes from a lot of people have heard of Pythagoras, which we study and sure a little bit in our school system around the theorem that we learn around the triangle. But actually, the character is a very interesting character. We were never taught the history of him. He was a religious leader. He was his interest was in philosophy, geometry, arts, architecture. In fact, he was considered one of the most powerful characters at the time. He was one of the few who went all the way to India, and he was given a Indian guru name, Pythagoras. I don't remember what exactly it is. And he was famous throughout that journey because he mentored a lot of people. He came back, and he actually coined the term philosopher in Greek at the time. But before that, people used to use the term mystic, or a wisdom or a wise person, which meant that somebody who knows. But he's like, no, I don't know anything. And the term philosopher, which actually really means the thirst to know more, or somebody who wants to know more.
Well, isn't it the love of wisdom? Philo is like
the
love, and the love of, and Sophia is wisdom, basically philosophy.
Yeah, so right? He didn't want to be considered a wise person or a mystic. He wanted to be somebody who wanted to gain wisdom, because he didn't actually think that he had it. He was on a journey to learn that, on an adventure to learn that. And that process has been lost pretty much across the board. And the few people who have it, and I think coaches kind of carry on that legacy of how can we learn? How can we grow through our own development, but the growth of those around us? But I'll start that as a starting point. What are your thoughts?
That brings up the whole point of like, what are coaches? What's one of our jobs is to love wisdom and love the pursuit and the gaining of wisdom for ourselves and our clients, because that's what leads to client successes, is the wisdom to know how to navigate things, right? Like there's information, and then there's knowledge, and then there's wisdom, right? It's like you can know a lot of things and have no wisdom. You know, if you don't have any adversity or experience to draw on, it's going to be hard to have high degrees of wisdom in a lot of places. But a lot of times for coaches, it's the adversity and the being able to navigate through that to some degree of success, or even a little bit of success, that gives us some wisdom, right? Like I for myself as a coach, I draw a lot on my my own challenges, my own experiences. Because what else do I have to draw on? The things that I've learned and applied through a lot of pain. And I think the way we can get clients results is partly we know how to get through our own challenges and we gain wisdom. And part of coaching is actually helping clients gain their wisdom. Like they can learn from your wisdom, they can learn from their own introspection, but it's actually the making the space for that wisdom to come out that allows them to take the actions that lead to the client successes that then kind of snowball. So it's like wisdom is actually a big underlying part of coaching, I think. And honestly, like the long-term pursuit for humans, I think wisdom is a really, I don't want to use the word noble, but important. It's both. It's an important pursuit for us to wisely navigate our lives, and to help others do the same is one of the coaches of calling of coaches.